Everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Behind me is a truck that might look familiar. 2014 Ram 1500 Hemi that last year, about 10,000 miles ago, we diagnosed a P0016 timing code, and you'll have to see that video. Kind of a weird failure that the timing chain was almost about to saw through the timing cover. Now, the customer said that it just went to Walmart or something. It just died in the parking lot. Couldn't get it started, no crank. Got it towed here, so I'm here to take a look at it. Let's see what's going on with the big Ram. Alright, so our battery voltage is not good, so I might have to hook up some jumper cables here. But the scanner did auto ID the vehicle, but couldn't read the VIN. You can see the PCM is offline. Let's save this report right away before we lose the battery voltage. I'll save that. Open it up. And we have some plausible data. You can see the cluster is kind of on and off. We turn it to crank, nothing happens, no response. In the BCM, we just have some wiper turn signal radio frequency hub. I think this is going to be helpful. Implausible data received from gated park switch. Gated park switch. So we don't have a Prindle, but that shouldn't keep the ignition from coming on. Unidentified key communication error, and all this stuff. So I'm going to clear all the DTCs out, and we'll cycle the key, give it some good battery voltage, and see what comes back. Okay, so clear the results, turn the key off, take the key out, let me hook up some jumper cables, and we'll see what happens. Alright, XL7 is doing some work. We're up to 13.6 here. Let's see how many amps this battery is accepting. Only about 10 amps, but that should be enough to try to start this thing. So let's see here. Key. Now the key looks a little worn and abused. Again, no crank. Horn works. Headlights work. Let's smart scan it again. So these are all the modules that, according to the gateway, this truck does not have. You can see which ones are now online or offline. So power steering, PCM. When we finish scanning, and we'll save this second report, see what the BCM's fussing about. RFH says no problems. So the only codes in the truck right now are wiper on-off control circuit, short to battery or open, and then some wheel speed sensor codes. Then the cluster is just waking up, going offline. Our wipers do not work. So it looks like the ignition is off. So there's some power moding issue. Like, does the key know, or does the car know where the key is? So is that in radio frequency hub? I don't think so. Let me just look at live data here. What recognizes this key? We need to take a look at a wiring diagram, read some service info. I know in some Chryslers this is called like the wireless control module, and it reads the key, but is it an immobilizer problem, or is it a network problem, or is it a power feed problem? Who's the gateway here? Who tells, or who switches the relays on and off? Is it the BCM? I guess we'll see. So in the radio frequency hub, we do have an active code B1A35 unidentified key communication error. I'm gonna save that, look that up. If the key, I'm gonna see if they have a spare key for this thing. It might just be a bad transponder key. Alright, so in the BCM, we have our power mode data. So ignition run off, ignition accessory off, 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 everything's off. It thinks that the ignition switch is in the lock position. Well, it's not in the lock position. I mean, do any of these buttons work? If we insert this, nothing changes in the power mode. That's definitely a problem. So we'll see how this interfaces with the gateway and go from there. Okay, so doing some research on the immobilizer system on this RAM, the wiring diagram shows that the radio frequency hub is the key player. It's a nice bright sunny day outside, and it talks to the BCM on one wire. It's connected to CAN C. It receives a TRS park signal from the transmission control module, and it talks to this module keyless ignition node, which is where you put in the FOBIC on a LIN bus. And, well, we're not seeing the state of the actual ignition node change when we turn the key. Even if the key was wrong, I expect the dash to light up, but not, you know, the truck probably wouldn't start. So I don't know if you had a wrong key, if it would even let you turn the ignition node. We could try it without a key, see if it's just, you know, if it's broken. Maybe it's mechanically broken and it doesn't change the position. Look at the live data. When you put the key in, does anything change? So I think those are the next steps. Alright, well, considering I can do this with my finger, that's not a good sign. Like, does it even know if the key is inserted? Let's just take a look at this data list in the radio frequency hub. Let's see if I push the brake pedal. Pedal pressed. Okay. It says commanded ignition status, ignition lock. All door status. And can we lock and unlock the doors? Driver door ajar. Yes. The door locks don't seem to work. Skim status normal. ECU status normal. Gated park switch true. Lock position. Indicator lamp status. Key and ignition. Right there. So the fact that key is not in the ignition, you know, put the key in the ignition, shouldn't that say yes? And then I turn it to accessory, run. These data pins do not change whatsoever. No fob. 2 keys programmed, yep. Passenger door ajar, position status. Then you got sensor IDs for the TPMS. Alright, so since we were missing the buttons, I'm just using a screwdriver that I found here to short these contacts out. So the door locks work, and the last R key button depressed, that works. Key fob number 1, okay. But this, I don't like this. Like, it's not, it should unlock itself and allow you to turn the cylinder. So whatever in here is either mechanically messed up. I don't know if there's a little motor in there, a little module. I mean, it's not responding. So let's get this out and do at least a power and ground check, see why it's all non-responsive. Oh no, it gets more interesting. We have, what the hell is this thing? Blade AI maybe a remote start, but it's spliced in. There's our ignition node, and oh boy, this is a mess. So if that goes through, oh cripes, it's all just electrical taped in here. There's no communication with key. Well, where's that orange wire go? To here, right? We just unplug this stupid thing. Let's see. Any change? No, no change. Oh, aftermarket garbage, people. At least check for powers and grounds on this little connector right here that goes to the key. So let's see if anything changed. Yeah, so there's probably no power. And you know, did we set any new codes? If I unplug this thing, communication error. Let's see. See if it'll request. You know, so these modules have to do with the anti-theft and entry. You should be able to communicate with them with the key off. They're, you know, they should be online. Like the cluster, you can see goes on and off. So I think if there's network activity, the cluster should go on and off. Let's see if we can talk. It takes a while because there we go. See, that's on. Read fault code. KIN ignition module communication active. So that's interesting. That set an extra code, so this thing was online, but this unidentified key communication error, that's probably a bad transponder key. So that makes sense. But the position of this, so the problem is going to be here. Either a bad ignition module or ignition key module, or a bad key. Either or. So I don't think the RFID, you know, the radio frequency hub it's reporting appropriately. It's just not getting the right signals. And this thing, with the wrong key, I don't think you should be able to turn it at all. There should be a little motor in there to disable, you know, turning it like that with the wrong key, I think. So let me do some more poking here. We'll be 100% sure. So just doing a visual inspection, you can see the white and green wire is taped to white and black, and then the white and green on this side is taped to a white and orange. So what would happen if we just splice these two together? The black, that's just piggybacked. The purple, that's just piggybacked. Let's try that before we get too far. Alright, so I'm just checking powers and grounds. Nothing changed. Oh, let's see here. Let's try one more time here. So those two are jumped together. Plug this sucker in. Nothing changed. Key in, no. No. Still in lock position. Nothing changed there. Let's read the code one more time. Okay, it's a stored code, so clear DTC, yes. We'll let that simmer, close the door, unlock the door. we can use a scope to see if the communication signals change. Because obviously when you unplug it, so these two wires are ignition switch position signal, violet brown, and white and light green is security K-line communication. Okay, and the one that was disconnected is that white and green, white and light green, that goes to this mystery box. So I just unplugged that completely. It's probably a remote start. So let's jump into RFH again. Read that code. Yep, so unidentified key communication error. So we're back to B1A35. So key problem or ignition node problem. Alright, so we got two channels. Channel 1 is on the purple wire, actually the orange that's spliced into the purple. If we don't have to poke more holes in the OEM wiring, the better. And then the red is on that white and light green wire. So, let's see. So ignition state wire is 0, and then the communication wire is red. So let's turn it to accessory. Look, communication. Okay, turn it to on. Okay, we get 4, 5, 6 volts and crank. Back to on, back to accessory, and off. Very interesting. So there's stuff going on. Is it just a bad key? So when I put the key in and out, it definitely sends a signal on channel 2, which is that white and light green wire. Now if we unplug channel 2 and do the same thing, see, it tries to communicate, so you definitely need this jumped. Okay, 12 volts, put the key in, it says, hey, key's in. So it should tell the RF hub that the key is in. Interesting. Now what if we unplug the ignition node side? That 12 volts is coming from the RF hub, from the truck side. And obviously if we put this in, nothing will happen. And then we'll set a communication code. So it's talking. It's definitely talking. So accessory lock, accessory on, start. Okay, then it goes to sleep. Interesting. Okay, this is so cool that I just took a training class on these wireless, stop push button systems and keyless entry. So let's read the description of operation. In vehicles with a rotary ignition switch, the RFH controls low frequency signaling with the Sentry key transponder integral to the mechanical key or fob with integrated key, fobic, through a tuned antenna internal to the IGNM. The IGNM transmits the received LF signal and the selected ignition switch status back to the RFH. Okay, vehicles with a push button system, we don't care about that. So this is key right here. So our code is unidentified key communication error. Basically the key is not responding when the antenna that's in here is commanded to send out a signal. Okay? The IGNM transmits the received LF signal and the selected ignition switch status back to the RFH on that communication wire. Right? And if it says I couldn't get a response back from the key, then we'll set this code. So potentially we still have a fault with the antenna in the ignition node, or the key itself is bad. I wish we had a second key, a known good key, a spare key to try out, and then we could definitely make the right call. The customer only has one semi-busted key, so what would you do in this case? Get another key, an OEM key, and just put it in and see if the code is different. So the code can be the 1825 will be invalid key. So if you can read the key and the key responds with the wrong ID, it's a different code. This one is just no communication with the key. Very, the difference is very important. So I think the wiring is fine. The radio frequency module is fine. It's either the antenna's busted in the actual ignition node, or we just have a bad key. So I'll tell the customer, let's get an OEM key replacement, blank Fabic, and put it in, see if we get a different code, try to program it. Hopefully that'll fix the truck. If not, we'll have to look up this ignition node, see if the antenna's working or not. Let me try one more thing. Okay, so this $5 little gizmo, it's nothing but a coil of wire and an LED. So we put it over the low frequency antenna transmitter, and we just turn the key and see if anything happens. You guys see that LED blink? It was kind of light. There it is. So antenna is actually trying to tell the key, like, hey, who are you? Who are you? The key's not responding. That test right there makes me think we have a bad key. The antenna is sending out a request signal to ask the key who it is, and then we get this code. So I think we're just about done with the diagnosis. We need a new Fabic.